guys, Sean Casterline here from Delta Capital Management in Orlando, Florida. Appreciate everybody checking in, and wanted to kind of talk about financial education, financial literacy in our country today. It's been a hot topic. I think most of us have probably read several articles over the last couple of years about how there's just not enough financial education in our country today. As I continue to think about the topic, I thought to myself, well, my sons are 21 and 22. What have I personally done to help educate my sons as they launch into their careers? And so as I look back, there's some, just kind of some guidance I've given them. And I think, maybe, 5 different items came to mind. The first was, hey, pay yourself first, right? I think it's an overused term in the financial world, but a lot of people don't follow it, right? So just for me personally, my wife and I both maximize our 401ks. We put other money into retirement. And then at the end of the month, if we have money left over, hey, that's great. We'll put it into a savings account or put it into a brokerage account or go on vacation, whatever. But, Warren Buffett was a big believer in this. Hey, pay yourself first and spend what's left over, not vice versa. And so certainly a pundit that we can all take a note from. Second thing I've really talked to my sons about was investing in tax-free vehicles, right? So they're still a little bit young to really grasp that. But I think as Americans, when we see how much money or how much debt our government has created, it's scary. I mean, if you think tax rates are not going up in the next 20 to 30 years, you're wrong. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what political party is in office, tax rates have to go up to combat this giant debt problem we've created, which, as we all know, is going up every single day. So I think tax-free vehicles are big. And one of the things I did with my sons, when they got to 13 or 14 years old, when they can actually start doing odd jobs and, making some monies, we set up custodial Roth IRAs for them. And we thought, one, it's going to give them a good start to life as far as saving for retirement. But two, I would always ask them when we put money into the Roth IRAs, hey, what do you want to buy? What do you like? What are you seeing today? And it provoked, it was the catalyst for a good financial conversation. Now, as you can imagine, my sons, being the age that they are, they bought Ferrari and Tesla and Nike, all the things that you would imagine, Disney World stock and all those things. And so, but again, having custodial Roth IRAs was a way for me to help educate them, but also for them to get a great start on life using a tax-free vehicle. Another thing I related to them is manage your debts. So for both of my boys, when they turned 18, we sat down, got them a Visa card, wanted to help them establish their credit. Small limits, but it was a good way for me to help them manage how they use the credit card. So, they put gas on their credit card, they pay it off every month. Recently checked my older son's credit score. I think it's like 750. He doesn't have a lot of credit, but it's a strong credit score when he wants to go get another car or finance a house. So, the credit card is a great way to help them understand how debt works, the fact that it does have to be paid off, the fact that there is a high interest rate attached to them with interest rates, moving up so much in the last couple of years. Another thing I talked to them about, kind of the fourth thing is to not be afraid to ask for help, right? So, a lot of times when we go to, for example, 401k education meetings, we sit in front of 50 different participants. We realize very quickly that people don't ask questions because they don't want to look silly sometimes. To help combat that, we typically do one-on-ones with those investors, and we got a lot of great questions. But don't be afraid to ask questions that are financially related. I mean, my sons obviously have me. If you have a financial advisor or a CPA, if you have questions about things, don't feel like you're badgering somebody or there's any kind of silly question in the finance world. Because again, I don't think as a country we have enough financial education, and part of that quotient is being able to ask questions to people, whether it's financial professionals or just friends, to help get you the help you might need. The last thing I would tell you, especially for younger people, is don't ignore estate planning. So when we have clients who come in, really the first question we ask them is, hey, do you have a trust or a will in place? And a lot of times it takes them back a little bit because they're thinking, hey, I've got this money, I want to invest, but it defeats the point of growing assets if you don't distribute them correctly. And a bigger piece of that for younger people like my sons is, if you do a simple will, it's going to have a healthcare and a financial power of attorney. So those things are very, very important younger in life. They don't need trust today. But again, a will give them basic coverage if something should happen to them. I do have a buddy of mine many years ago who got into a motorcycle accident. He and his wife both had separate checking accounts. My friend, was actually in a coma for 3 months. He did fortunately come through it, but at one point, because they were paying the mortgage out of his bank account, his wife didn't have access to it, and they didn't have a will in place. So it became a situation where they had plenty of money to pay the mortgage, but they almost lost their home. So again, don't ignore estate planning. You can get a lot of great information about wills and trusts online. You can actually do a free will online. So you don't have to necessarily pay an attorney to do that. But again, going back to the early point, I don't think there's enough financial education in our world today. Maybe there's some bigger picture things we can look forward to, the government helping out with, or maybe some things they can put in place. But really, financial education starts at home, right? So it's up to you to educate your kids. It's up to you to get your own financial education. And because the internet has become so big, there's just an immense library out there. So before you pull the trigger on some commission-based annuity or an investment you're not sure about, do your own due diligence. There's a lot of great information out there. And certainly, if you're looking for a resource, we've got a great team here at Delta Capital Management. With that, I appreciate y'all's time today. And if you have questions, again, feel free to look out and educate yourself, and that will certainly trickle down to your family as well. And wish you guys all the best. Take care.